closer than that. You got to give the edge to Novak. There's no doubt about that. But 80-20, that's a lot.
Strong start. Daniel, of course, former world number 26 in singles, three-time major champion with Yevgeny Kafelnikov in the doubles. Brad, Tommy played him a couple of times, Tomas Machac, in Asia last year. I remember messaging you saying how good the matches were and how well they both played, but Tomas got the better of your man a couple of times.
Yeah, back-to-back weeks, unfortunately. Tokyo and Shanghai. And I mean, Tommy came off the court both times feeling like the guy just played like some untouchable tennis in some of the big moments of the match. I'm looking for here. We'll wait and see. It's going to come at some point. He has a phenomenal backhand down the line, which he can pull the trigger on almost anything, really. And he hurt Tommy a number of times with that shot in really big moments in the matches that they played.
Interesting start to that rally.
Yes, 100%. Two things. One, Machac went to his right to hit a backhand on the return instead of the other way. He kind of took himself out of the court a little bit. And then Novak obviously targeting the forehand there, those first 3 balls in a row. So we'll keep an eye on that and see if that continues to be a, excuse me, a game plan for him looking at the forehand.
And the one thing, of course, on Novak's side tonight is Andy Murray. And Andy, not just a rival of Novak's over the years, there he is. He actually played Tomas Machac a couple of times last year, lost to him in Marseille, and then a final set breaker loss in Miami. So he's been on the other side of the net. That should help Djokovic.
Interesting scenario, isn't it, when your coach has played the guy that you're playing and he played him relatively recently. It's a factor of their age and the fact that they've been able, both of them obviously, to stay competitive at the tour level for so long.
Little glimpse into the athleticism the 24-year-old has.
He's a phenomenal mover. The forehand is the way he produces the forehand is a little bit interesting. It's not for me, it's not aesthetically not the prettiest swing necessarily, but he can accelerate through it, and off both sides he penetrates through the court a lot, relatively flat. Kind of typical of the players from Czechia that grew up playing a lot of indoor tennis.
The legend that is Dion Warwick, who played just prior to the match coming onto court. That was a wonderful surprise. Bit of a pedestrian hold in the end for Novak, but a successful one after 6 minutes. Delighted we've got a bit of help tonight as well. Andrea Petkovic, welcome courtside. How are you?
Good evening to you too. I'm doing very well. Thank you for asking. Unfortunately, this is not about me, but about these two men that are here on the court. And where Novak just served, the wind is blowing into his back. So where Tomas Machac is about to go to this side, the wind is going into the back. Something to keep in mind, because it hasn't been as breezy as it can be in Melbourne until now, but it is today, and you could already see a bit of annoyance on Novak's face about that. He hates the wind, as many players do, but Novak particularly is not his greatest friend, the wind.
A couple of gold medalists from Paris Olympics on the court. Novak in the singles, Machac in the mixed. Kind of a very studious start here from Novak.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just thinking as I was watching that point how impeccable his footwork is. He got out to that second backhand and closed his stance, leaned on the front leg, and added a little gas to that ball.
And he's just overcooked that forehand. As you can see, he has got very big pace on that wing when he needs to use it, but he's got to keep it within the confines of the court, and already Djokovic starting to apply a bit of pressure.
You can't afford to give Novak free points. He's going to make you pay.
It's interesting. Sorry, Brad.
No, I was going to say, if you're Machac right here, I mean, you've just got to dig deep, find a way to get through this game. As long as you got the balls in your hands and you're serving, you still got a chance in this game.
And you can just see from courtside that he doesn't feel quite comfortable on the forehand wing with the wind in his back. Because it's flat, we just saw the rotations per minute. This was the first one he really hit decisively. The ones before, there was a bit of hesitation in them.
Interesting watching him at United Cup. He lost to Casper Ruud in a 3-setter. Hubie Hurkacz and Flavio Cobolli came second best against Machac. Then he pulled the ripcord against Taylor Fritz, having served for the match and had a match point in the semi-finals of the United Cup.
Wow. I thought Novak had him beat when he hit that dropper. I'm a little dumbfounded by that. That was an amazing get by Machac, and then to do what he did with the ball. What a rally! What an exchange here.
You had a pretty good seat for that one, Andrea.
This was absolutely incredible. I'm sitting next to Machac, and we both thought the point was over. But Machac, when he put on that last extra bit of speed on the last meter, incredible side.
I was going to finish my thought about the way that he played at United Cup. He didn't use that serve as much as I'd seen him through 2024. He serves a lot more down the tee on the big points. Interesting. And maybe he feels as though that's the weaker side of, in inverted commas, of Novak off the return. But he has gone there every time with the first serve on the deuce side. Absolutely Tiptronic speed on that forehand side. He goes through the gears effortlessly.
Tiptronic. You have to be a bit of a car nut to know what that means.
Well, I am a little bit of a car. Although if you break down, I won't be able to help you out. I'll be able to tell you the make, the model, whatever needs to go in it, but that'll be about it. But it is, isn't it? It's so loose, and it looks the same swing, and then suddenly you've got 130 Ks coming at you.
Yeah, it's that we call it, in our group, we call it the Cobra. He kind of sets it in the back in the shape of a Cobra, and then he lets it strike. And you're exactly right, Mark. I mean, he can. It's hard to read because because of the wrist action in it, he can kind of generate a little bit of extra racket head speed right at the last second through the point of contact. Closed by Novak. Good read on the point.
Spent 10 days with Andy down in Marbella. Also spent another 10 days over in Thailand pre-season before getting to Brisbane. He does have that shot and awe, doesn't he?
Absolutely. Laid into that one.
One of those players that can produce that kind of reaction from the crowd just off one isolated shot.
Inside outish, but he can pull the trigger on that ball from virtually anywhere. Doesn't matter the pace, height, angle of the ball. His backhand down the line when he's on it is devastating. No one in men's tennis serves more second serves to the forehand than Novak. I've actually seen the stats on it. And it's such a tough ball because he doesn't kick the ball really at all. It's a slider. It stays down and moves through the court, almost to the degree where it forces his opponent to lift the ball. Speaking of backhands down the line, great one there from Novak Djokovic.
And a great start for everybody here. On serve after 16 minutes, 2-1. Safe and secure with a couple of serves. And he was so desperately close to getting an early break, and he would have done had it not been for some absolutely phenomenal athleticism from Machac. Going to take another look at that third break point. As Brad said, it looks as though Djokovic had this one on ice when he goes to the dropper. Beautiful little bit of disguise. Look at where Machac was.
It's amazing that he got to this ball, much less was able to create that. What a dig, what an angle.
And you can see when you see a point like that why so many people feel as though he has a little bit of Djokovic about him. Talked a little bit about the more serves to the forehand than anyone else out there on tour. It was a bit of a shift, wasn't it, in 2020? Suddenly realised, looking at his own data, that his little kicker second serve was getting dominated, particularly on the ad side, which is what prompted the change. That year alone, he had about 6 miles an hour uptick on speed.
Yeah, he used to go a lot out to the backhand, and it used to have more of a typical type of action, and it used to sit up a bit. And as I said, now he plays that out to the forehand, but we've discussed this amongst our team, and Tommy doesn't really have that slider that Novak has. Tommy's got a great kick serve, but when he plays it out to the forehand, sometimes the kick tends to then sit up too much. Novak slides through the court, and it stays low, and it literally forces guys to have to lift. So if they're lifting that ball, it means that it's coming up for him to hit on the first ball coming back. He's jumped out to a lead here again. 2 service games. Twice Machac's been behind in these games early. You don't want to do this too often with Novak.
And there's that tee serve that seems to have improved, although it wasn't in the off-season because he didn't hit many balls in the off-season because he got very sick. Actually, Machac spent about 3 weeks on antibiotics and actually came to the United Cup and ended up having to try and do a mini pre-season there while playing those matches.
A little bit of help there from the net for Novak. Ball sat up nicely, gave him all the time in the world to decide where he wanted to play that. Couple more break point opportunities.
it's a breakpoint save, but it's like tennis art out there. What a bit of movement again from Machac. How much ground he covered in just one step, closing the net down.
Absolutely, and a great read off of this ball. He just neutralized that ball and then read the point that he had actually opened the court and pushed Novak. Great read coming forward, and then the backhand volley was really well done.
And I've seen Novak, we're the same age, I've seen Novak play since he's 12 years old, and I can just tell after 2 points that he's playing really well. You can just tell that he's feeling the ball in his strings and he can redirect at will, and he's just feeling good out there compared to his first 2 matches. He's finally finding form.
Andrea, I'm most impressed with the fact that you're more than comfortable telling everyone how old you are.
Middle-aged, baby.
I can.
Just to know.
I can say.
You can.
I can.
Okay.
Come on, guys.
One of the greatest points you'll ever see.
Is this a tennis match, or have we shown up at some kind of a contortionist show? That was insane how many balls he got to on full stretch, almost the splits, almost full splits.
I'm just checking my notes here, Brad. I'm just checking whether he won a gold in mixed in singles or whether he won it in the gymnastics.
I mean, that was crazy. Novak wants a little love after that previous point. The net's been nice to him so far. Twice he's gotten the benefit of a let court. He was completely out of the play right here. Oh, wait. I got that.
Halt. 15-13.
seeing some spectacular tennis right now. This is top notch. Both these guys maneuvering the ball around the court. Making each other work at an incredible level right now.
Ariana Titmuts, another gold medalist in the Rod Laver Arena tonight.
This is just such high quality tennis right now.
14, 13.
Novak has been on point with the forehands up the line, changing direction, maneuvering Machac around the court. Great feel. Soft hands right there.
Captivating affairs in this opening 5 games. Murray's going to be happy with that, as his man has captured 4 of those games. Not going to lie, that felt as though it had the hallmarks of Andy at the start of the match there. Novak really coming in, battening the hatches down, windy conditions, not really missing. Andy's philosophy is defense beats attack 90% of the time, and against somebody like Machac, who he's played with before, he perhaps would have said, let's start off and see what he's bringing to the court today, and maybe there'll be some unforced errors early on, and Novak has had to play well to extract those, but he has got them.
Yeah, to be honest, there haven't been a lot of what I would call unforced errors. A couple that hurt him. I mean, he got behind in both of those games, you know. But really, Novak has had to win the points, and the tennis has been absolutely spectacular so far. If we get this for the entirety of the match, it's going to be a tough battle for both guys.
Machac got into tennis because he was at the tennis club and his sister was playing, and he was a little bored, and he'd just knock a ball about against the wall for hours and hours on end while she was playing matches. Finally, his parents paid for a lesson for him. He was spotted at his local club and then went to Prague once a week. But from 12 to 15, Tomas lost a little bit of interest in the game of tennis, played a lot more soccer at that particular time before regaining his passion for the sport at 15 years of age. And he hasn't looked back since.
He
hasn't won the first point of a game so far. He's been down love 30. Both games, love 40 the first game. Tough to be fighting from behind all the time against Novak. Again, love 30.
Love 30.
He's put himself in this hole, and then the first game he was able to battle back out of it. Up a break already. You got to expect that Novak's going to be a little bit more aggressive here.
Just a sensational return of serve. No one has ever done it better. That's a comfortable break. And the opening set almost Djokovic's.
Djokovic leads 5 games to 1. Love 15.
What do you advocate for Machac right now, Brad? Big swings through the middle, get a bit of rhythm.
There's a fine balance there because I think, you know, it's funny, you're down 5-1, but it doesn't feel like that. It feels like this has been a really tight, hard-fought set. At the same time, you build confidence by making balls. So there's a fine line there. I think you gotta stay aggressive with your swings and try and take a little time away, but maybe that ball just missed. But I think at the same time you've got to make sure that you're giving yourself good targets, maybe a little bit more margin. Tomas is a guy who flirts with the lines a lot, I think. Try and bring it inside just a little bit more.
Left. In touch.
Once again, another extravagant point between these two.
The balance here from Novak and the creativity with the shots, the lob to create that opportunity, and then how he just held his position, perfect balance at the net. It makes everything look so simple. Not necessarily spectacular, but simple, I think. Maybe spectacularly simple.
Wasn't entirely happy with his serve in his previous rounds, and you could see there just spilling over already. Charlie Gomez alongside Andy at the back there. I think that's him complaining about the lights again.
with Andy on the sideline, when he does get upset and gets in these mode where he starts jabbering at the box, are we going to finally get to hear what he's saying? Is he going to have to speak English?
Advantage, Djokovic. Cain and per set, Djokovic.
36 minutes it's taken Novak to take the opening set, dropping just the one game.
It's amazing sometimes. What was that all about?
I think the luck and then the wind.
Yeah.
Yelena, his wife, looking on. Feeling though that it's probably a good job that he hasn't spoken in English over the years. He probably saved himself a few dollars.
I would imagine.
There's a lot of benefits for speaking English in this world and on the tour, but not on the court.
We do get penalized on the tour a lot more. There's been a lot of coaching going on from well before coaching was allowed. And it's much easier to get away with it when you speak a language other than English.
And some of the more colorful words. Patience, perseverance, perfection.
I feel like I'm watching something on a video game, the way they're playing right here. Correct me if I'm wrong, Mark. You watched them a little bit more, but since being with Andy is Novak using the slice backhand more. Seems to me that through this point in this match early on that he's used the slice, and maybe that's just a tactical choice on his part against Machac, but it seems to me that he's used the slice more than what I'm used to seeing him.
That is one of his big weapons, the inside-out backhand from the middle of the court. Not many players hit it as well as Machac.
Caught the line on that one.
Yes.
Novak testing Machac's rally tolerance.
And a little Novak drama at the end of the point as well. Doubled over.
Advantage, Djokovic.
Andrea sensed that he was a bit irritated that there was no call from the ELC.
Sorry, I was just trying to listen in because you do have a translator down here. And he was just saying, what is happening here? What is happening here? And he felt like that one ball was out and he felt like the call was not correct.
The ball on the baseline.
Yes.
But he definitely thought that ball was going out as well. And/or thinks it was out.
Yes.
This is always the interesting thing with Novak, isn't it? Check the scoreboard. Calm down, relax. It's one thing to say that there's an intensity there, but then he gets a little bit off track with what it is that's irritating him.
Advantage, Machac.
And he's never been that calm in his life. It's interesting, though, Mark, you were just saying that, I mean, Andy, for me, it's really smart on his part, you know. I think as a coach, I said this the other day, you know, you want to model on the sideline the behavior that you want to see from your player. You want him to be calm. Been pretty dramatic this game. He seems to be struggling a bit to catch his wind, and these points are very physical without a doubt. Wow. Talk about offside backhands. I'll see yours and raise you one.
Yes.
get pretty fiery, Machac himself.
Advantage, Machac.
Stabilizing game. And Novak with a little bit of an issue after the slide on his knee. There, it looks as though he's just picked up a little bit of a problem with his rib cage. And he's decided to take a full sit down here, and the umpire looking on. Given how physical the points have been, he doesn't need too much of a problem in that particular area, Djokovic.
Similar play, similar result. Interesting, Novak twice to the drop shot off the backhand side, twice cross court. Used to seeing him play that up the line so often.
Let. First service.
When he gets into this mode of flawless tennis, he is a very, very hard player to stop.
Love 30.
Helen Chow. Works out of Sydney. First met actually Machac during the United Cup to help him during his sort of compressed pre-season there, intermingled with those matches. A little bit of a body whisperer, according to Jim Courier and Todd Woodbridge, who had a little bit of a chat with her. Just spent about 10 minutes in her company and fixed Jim's neck and fixed Todd Woodbridge's pec, which she did well to find a pec muscle there with Todd, actually, to be fair. But, you know, that's how good she is. It's got to be that good because of how well he moves. It always looks like a bad choice of shot when you under-hit a drop shot, but Machac is so fast forward, as we've seen. It's got to be that delicate. And dangerous moments here now at the start of the second set for Djokovic. This isn't tennis, this is 4D chess out here between these two.
Yeah, absolutely.
Machac mesmerizing Melbourne. It's like a human mirage.
Machac leads 2.
There's nothing there, and then suddenly it appears.
I'm taking notes. Note to self.
Well, how to move on the court, your age, Brad.
Cover cross court on the short sliding backhand. Unbelievable.
Djokovic right back to work.
Phenomenal change of direction.
Love 30.
That was just the tidying up job. It was the forehand that softened Novak up. Excellent length and pace on it. Not this time.
Amazing points. The use of the space in the court, short area of the court.
15.
The continued change of directions from Novak. Backhand up the line on that one right here as an approach. Interesting little exchange to start that approach shot from Machac with the little slider forehand. Little side spin on it.
Absolutely phenomenal tennis between these two, and that sets things up nicely here at the second set as Djokovic gets the break back.
Machac leads 2-2.
Just a sense here, Brad, Andrea, that, I mean, obviously we saw at the end of the first game when he was struggling a bit physically, have a sense, we're not entirely sure if he didn't throw up in that last game or before that last game. And I think that Damien Dumassois is actually phoning the physio or doctor to come out here for Djokovic right now.
I think that's exactly what happened. Novak approached the chair umpire and asked for something, and he called right away. And I do think that he needs the physio right now. He's sitting there, and I think this is what will happen. But this is just the type of desire that Novak has. No matter how he feels physically, winning a point is the most important thing to him, and it's just so fascinating to watch.
Machac unable to consolidate the break, but didn't do an awful lot wrong. It was a sharp start to that third game from Novak, doing what he does so well. Return a tennis ball back at his opponent. Took away any opportunity for Machac just to settle, get a bit of space on the scoreboard. Novak has asked the umpire, Damien Dumassois, for the physio to come out.
Laver Arena.
Brad, there it is again. Machac is just a little bit guilty of that. He crouches in, he gets inside the baseline, moves himself out of position to hit a backhand that he doesn't hit particularly aggressively, and there's all that space cross court.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's put himself on the run and on defense immediately. And again, like you were saying, Mark, and if I'm sitting in Machac's camp, you know, you want him to keep testing the physical capabilities of Novak at this point. You've seen him doubled off on the court. He just had the physios on the court. You can't allow yourself to make these few errors that he's made easily here in this game.
Again, 2 against 1.
Ten finals Novak has made here in Australia. 10 times he's walked away with a trophy. This is a place that he loves, excels in. And from the jump, he's looked good tonight.
Cain.
Some physical issues last year did Machac. Achilles injury that kept him out of Paris after he had to retire against Rinderknecht. Picked up that against Alcaraz in the Davis Cup in September. Took the opening set against the Spaniard, lost the second, had to pull out, went on and played 1 game against Popper in the next Davis Cup tie, then had to retire. Same injury came back in Paris. But of course did get the better of Alcaraz after he beat your man in Shanghai.
Don't remind me.
Djokovic getting the better of Machac there off the return. He's faded a few down the line, but he takes that at some clip cross court.
Been very happy to stay in that forehand-to-forehand exchange. He's gotten the better of it the majority of the time so far.
13-14.
Machac seems unwilling to change out of that exchange. Nicely done there from Machac. Not an easy ball on break point. Novak didn't quite get all of that return. spectacular.
And just because maybe Machac not yet a marquee name, you may feel as though you'll see better tennis as this tournament goes on. I'm not sure you will. Pressing, probing. And then excelling once again.
The length on that last stroke.
Let for service.
He may not be feeling 100% out there, but the scoreboard's got to be making him feel a little bit better. That's 3 games in a row for Djokovic.
And guys, you have the numbers. Has Novak missed a single backhand today? From down here, it feels like he hasn't missed a single one, and you can never tell when he's going to change directions.
Well, we've unfortunately got Roger Federer doing the stats up here, Andrea. So yeah, he has missed a few, but it's a pretty harsh glare that somebody's got him under tonight. But you're right. I mean, I think on both sides, this is him locking things down, and yet he's still picked up 9 ground stroke winners, 5 off the forehand, 4 off the backhand, compared to just 5 from Machac. Slowly to the chair after that 5th game.
It's tough when you're Tomas Machac. It's tough enough to be playing Novak Djokovic. But then you've got all these other things that are happening in between the points. He gives this presentation as if he's about to call for the EMTs to come and carry him off to the hospital. And then as soon as the point starts, he's playing absolutely spectacular tennis. Great first ball counter there. Little things like that he does on such a consistent basis. It's interesting to me how I think the vast majority of players on tour and some of Novak's peers under these same circumstances would not want to show what's going on with them or how they're feeling. They feel often that gives off a sense of vulnerability in what they're doing. Novak's always been comfortable being very emotive, not just emotive in his emotions, but also in this scenario where maybe he's not feeling his best. He's certainly giving a presentation that he's not feeling his best. So that creates some thought processes for his opponent as well.
Cain, Djokovic leads 4 games to 2.
First ace of the night for Novak. Quite a few of them. That brings up his 40th ace of the tournament. 23 in his opening round, 14 in his second.
Just got a little jammed there. I feel like if you're in the other end of the camp with Machac, you need to bring your own energy up a little bit. It's almost like Novak's situation is sucking the energy out of Machac. I'd like to see him get a little bit bigger in his presentation with his body language. It's a fist pump or two after a .1 here.
13-15.
Tends to go, of course, when you're not feeling your best, is speed off the ground, because it takes a lot more energy to hit the ball hard. But that would suggest that he's not feeling too bad right now, despite outwardly not looking great. Found an extra 6 Ks on his forehand in this second set. Machac stalking Djokovic through this second set, still trailing by the break, 3-4. A lot of interaction, Andrea, between Novak and his team right now.
He said that whatever electrolytes he took with him on the court, he can't drink right now because his stomach is blowing up. That was the gesture. So Milan, his physio, told him, drink the thing that is on the floor right there. And that's what he's doing right now.
Novak looking for some solutions from his camp at that change of ends for the illness that he's currently feeling, and Machac has got to keep his focus to try and balance the books here in the second set. And from Czechia down the break, Novak closing in on a 2-set-to-love lead. And that's better. There's a fine line, Brad, between putting balls in court against someone like Novak and still trying to make him move.
Yeah, absolutely. And Machac's been very comfortable staying in those cross-court exchanges, which makes the point a bit physical, but you definitely, seems to me, that you would want to be trying to move as much as you possibly can. That's too good right there. Great response from Novak. again, for me, if I'm Daniel Vacek, I'm trying to encourage my man to give me a little bit more energy, to be a little bit bigger in his presentation, get the feet moving a little bit before each return. I would have liked to have seen him come out of that changeover and actually jog out to the deuce side to return. That's an amazing point. An amazing point. I mean, they're exactly, Machac doing exactly what we were talking about. Let's move him a little bit more. Let's make it more physical. Did a phenomenal job through the first half of that point doing that. Novak just finds a way to neutralize that. Machac was leading that point, playing offense. And all of a sudden it's back to neutral. And Novak's the guy that can pull out the point in the end. That's a little disheartening when you're down at the other end.
Couple of aces, clean game in the end from Novak. Another big step towards a 2-sets-to-love lead.
Djokovic leads 5 against 2-3.
Whatever problems he's feeling, the moment the hostilities are resumed, he seems to be able to deal with it pretty well.
Thank you.
That's a perfect example for me. Great point by Tomas Machac here. Finish this point right there and give yourself a little bit of celebration. Doesn't have to be enormous, but a little fist pump, a little come on.
A significant hold here for Machac playing into the draft, and he'll have the opportunity in the next game potentially to play with the wind at his back. First hole to love as Novak tosses that one away and focuses his attention on what will be the 10th game of this second set. Ajay, how difficult is this to play against if you're Machac?
Honestly, just what we have been doing, all our eyes are glued on Novak Djokovic, and so is Tomas Machac. I think, Brett, you're exactly right. He's forgotten to put effort and energy into his own game because he keeps... I've been watching him now for the past 3-4 games, and he keeps looking over to what Novak is going to do. He keeps looking over to whether Novak is keeling over or feeling well or not feeling well. And I think he needs to focus back on himself, and that's so hard to do when clearly something is happening on the other side. This is a tough position for Machac to be in, really.
It's been another stunning Australian Open in terms of attendance records that are getting broken daily. But breaking is firmly on Mahac's mind. Djokovic will try to deny him. There's been some flawless tennis, plenty of fortitude between these two, a little bit of frailty physically for Novak, but can he put himself up 2 sets to love?
Let first service. Let second service. Allow for Cain.
Well, Hack hasn't had to do very much here so far, and a love 30 advantage in this game. Big opportunity here. That's a frustrating error, obviously, for everyone in his camp or any fans here. Tough one to give away there. Basic rally ball, middle of the court.
Let first service.
Not much you can do about that one. From love 30 back to 30 all. Big advantage for the server now.
bullet of a backhand. And it brings up a break point.
13-14.
And every point at the moment seems to have a rare significance. The uncertainty surrounding Djokovic physically, and a route back develops here for Machac.
Had him in a string from the start of that point. Machac could just never get him ahead in that point.
Use. Let service. Please. Advantage, Djokovic.
Well placed serve, and one more will leave Djokovic himself well placed.
Cain and second set.
Immense serving. Djokovic leads by 2 sets to love.
2 sets to serve.
This man's best run at a major coming at the US Open last year, round of 16. Wins over Fognini, Korda, Goffin, lost to Draper pretty comfortably in the end.
And that return, Brett, to me is quintessentially Novak Djokovic. That's everything in his career has come through this return. Great serve, and he just neutralizes straight on the baseline. Incredible returning here.
Oh, goodness. Certainly one of the, if not the best returner ever in the game.
Who would you put up there with him?
Agassi, Connors.
Different type of returner though, Andre, surely more aggressive.
Absolutely. That's one of the things I was going to say is Novak's level of consistency with the return. Just like Andrea said, you know, neutralizing great serves. Phenomenally good. Andre, a much more aggressive returner. Oh my gosh, these last couple points here. Not what you want. I'd say Leighton Hewitt, a little bit more of a Novak type of returner.
Saw the line was open, try to bend the ball into it.
Wow. Not the start you want.
Djokovic.
If you're the man from Czechia.
First game, third set.
Did a nice job against top tennis last year. It was 0-5 coming into 2024. Was Machac against the elite in the game. He actually went 4-7 last season, but he has not beaten one over.
Definitely showing a bit more energy and emotion there, but not from the positive standpoint. That last game was an absolute gift. 2 double faults, a missed overhead.
Novak with some incredibly accurate serving.
13-11.
And not for the first time in his career. Where do you rate him as a spot server?
I mean, as a spot server, you know, he's pace-wise obviously not the biggest server, but as a spot server, he's among the best again. He just finds a way to do that. And what I found interesting, that there's a serve, that's 200 Ks, and that's a big serve. That's a big serve by anyone's. But if you look at the variation between his first serves through the course of the match, I mean, he's hit some first serves that are down in the 160s, consistently in the 170s. Then he pops one in like that at 200, 198, something like that. It's as an American, you know, we say he pitches a great game. He keeps you off balance. He doesn't have just one pitch. He's got 4 or 5 or 6 pitches that he could come in with, and it's hard to get the rhythm and the timing, because he doesn't give you any rhythm, because he does change the paces so well. You add into that he's probably, again, amongst the best, if not the best, at neutralizing the first ball when guys even do play extremely aggressive returns. We've seen that a fair amount tonight as well. Shot.
He's been searching for that one.
He needs to find some more of those darts. I'm not sure. Will that or won't that make the highlight reel?
I was going to ask you to describe that shot in one word.
Exuberant.
Nicely done.
Look at the height on that, though. Can he dunk a basketball?
That's what you Americans call a home run.
He's playing the wrong sport there on that shot.
And he's been incredible since he turned 30. 12 majors, of course, for him. And look at that record. Just the 14 losses. Best of any male or female in the Open era. And he's by far the best right now. Couple of sets to the good and a break, 2-1.
Djokovic leads 2 against 2.
Showtime, Andrea, coming up here for a man that likes to do a little bit of this, Machac. We saw this at the United Cup. We actually tend to see it at the baseline.
Honestly, I think he did too little of it. He's not embracing the big stage. He's clearly intimidated by Novak Djokovic's aura today here at a Grand Slam level, but this is the athleticism that he possesses, and that 91% that Novak has, I thought that was just the percentage I've had of injuries since I turned 30. Because we're about the same in these numbers.
We're back to gymnastics right here, Mark. You need to put up the scores.
Well, on that front, he's a perfect, what is it, 6, 10?
Time.
Turning them off. Another match coming up here on the ladies' side after this. And after a good battle in the opening set, this has gone relatively swiftly towards Novak.
Please.
Seen him do that a few times. Goes to the left hand. It's funny what you just said, Mark, because I agree with you that, I mean, here we are at 6-1, 6-4, 2-1. You look at those first 2 sets, and the first set felt more contested. It felt closer, and the score line was 6-1. The second set, the early break from Novak, and it got a little bit dramatic there as he tried to close it out at the end, but it felt like he controlled that set more than the first set, really.
He's kind of an interesting competitor, Machac, because in some respects, because of his talent, it enables him to overturn deficits, but you don't get the sense that he's an unconditional competitor.
Yeah, not at all. I mean, we've seen him, as we spoke about early on, he struggles at times with his anger. He can get frustrated. I mean, this match for me, I mean, I give him a C- when it comes to body language and presentation. And when I say presentation, I mean, you want to get out there and you want your opponent to look over at you and see that you're there for the battle. He hasn't looked like that for the vast majority of this match.
Again, exemplary serving from Novak in terms of location. Once again, just a K off the 200 mark, and that has been absolutely excellent. It's just taken the racket and the wind out of Machac's sails in terms of any sort of turnaround. And whatever problems he was feeling at the start of the second set and through it seemed to have dissipated.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just watching him as he put his towel in the towel box and started coming to return position. Just the pacing of his walking, much less the fact that he started stretching a little bit. And body language from Novak right now.
And I was saying about Machac, you know, he's kind of an interesting competitor, because actually take the metric of turning matches around from having dropped the opening set. And last year, he did pretty well, to be honest. I mean, he was almost at 50% of matches he managed to come back in. He won 9, lost 17.
But those weren't against Novak Djokovic. And maybe, I think Andrea may be right also, that maybe the moment, maybe the fact that he's playing Novak, maybe he's giving him a little bit too much respect. He doesn't want to, maybe doesn't want to be emotive, pumping his fist, giving some come-ons. You know, Tommy played him twice, and I'll tell you, his energy level was pretty high. And there were plenty of fist pumps and plenty of come-ons during the match. Wow. Got a smile out of him that time, at least. That's the first time, honestly. It's the first time in the match where he looks like he's having a little bit of fun, a little bit of pleasure out there. That was insane.
Please, ladies and gentlemen, not during the rally. Thank you.
Djokovic with his eyes on a second break.
And even there, like he just seems to accept that. That's a bad air. I would love to see him take a little bit more time in between the points after that air at that score.
Cutting it fine.
Yeah, Novak knew it.
Sorry, 1 second. Yeah, can you just tell everybody, please? Thank you. Yeah.
Please, not when both players are ready to play. Thank you. Left. First service. Left. First service. Advantage, match.
The crowd's pushing for him a little bit. They want to see more tennis. They want him to keep Novak out here longer. It's always funny because that's one of the things that always gets under Novak's skin if the crowd starts to be too supportive of the opponent.
Just on a hitter. That was a determined Djokovic. Machac, for the time being, kept him at bay.
Djokovic leads 3 against Djokovic.
A couple of shots that just kept him in this set, really. That forehand on the lunge down the line was crucial, and then managing to come up with something on the line, on the break point. Otherwise, Novak would have been out of reach, you feel, at 4-1. And again, even though he lost the last point and just under hit that drop shot, some big comebacks and some players making a run deeper into a major than they've done before. A couple of hours gone, and a couple of players up next. Anilovic up against Pegula at the conclusion of this. Don't often see Novak take his foot off an opponent's throat when he's in this position.
Inside the baseline there. She needs to get that up and down a little faster. You know, one thing that's happened consistently throughout this match is that when Novak slides him wide on the deuce side, which he's done a lot, I think it would be an enormous benefit to Tomas Machac if he could get the forehand a little bit more cross court. It keeps coming into Novak's backhand, and that backhand for Novak from that position into the backhand corner is such a basic shot for him.
Just too good.
It is too good.
13.
Novak feels like he finally got a call from the machine. You know, also if Machac can take that forehand cross court from this side, you know, Novak may be able to take the forehand down the line, but that ball doesn't run away from him. It goes out the back of the court. Not as much court you have to cover to get to that.
Once again, it's just so beautifully constructed. Puts in the short 140 out of the hit zone. Machac not located in the right place for that sort of return, and then he just takes control of the point. No inroads being made by Machac.
He served extremely well for this last half an hour, 40 minutes or so.
Djokovic leads 4 against the 2.
Just the 8 points drop behind his first serve, 81% for the match for Djokovic. And that has kept Machac pretty much stone cold on return. 9 for 9 in this set.
I'll revise my comment. Served extremely well for the last 2 hours and 4 minutes.
I mean, his returning has been off the charts. I mean, Machac has only had 14% of his first serves unreturned. Just 10 out of 71.
That's what he does to you on a consistent basis. It's just constantly under pressure.
13.
What he does is he turns the opponent's service games into baseline games. He forces you to play a baseline game, and who's better at playing a baseline game than Novak Djokovic?
No one.
No one. Literally no one. how much longer will he be better than everybody else at that baseline game?
Oh, that's just unreal.
The anticipation to start with, and then the execution to get that ball down.
It's so interesting to me how he chooses to go right leg over there, and the other times that he goes open stance backhand.
And it's so natural for him. He obviously doesn't have to think about it. It's something that just happens for him. It's got to feel natural whichever way he's doing it based on the ball.
It's a masterclass loading here by Djokovic.
And finally executed on the drop shot. And it was a good one.
Fourth ace denies Djokovic for the time being.
Let. Second service.
It's the only thing he's missed so far tonight. I wish he'd made that. I wanted to see what was going to come next.
Machac just hanging on. He is downstream from excellence. What a phenomenal last rally in terms of the skill set, the repertoire that they both showed. Novak once again with a return. This was an incredible dig. Machac does well to smother that, and then things got interesting, Brad.
Very interesting. That little flick back cross court from Machac. I wish that had gone over. I wanted to see where he was going to go again. Great shot, and then whoop! Just a little flick with the wrist to take that cross court. Little mini tennis.
Time.
Well, the desire that is still pushing Novak to be out here at 37 years of age was very evident after that final point. Even the greatest are the understudy to perfection, and he was desperately unhappy that he wasn't able to break free of Machac with a second break. A couple of times he's been tantalizingly close, but he has been able to hold on to his breaks in this third set. Machac, in fact, has just picked up the 1 point against the Djokovic serve. He's into the home stretch.
Fifteen.
10 out of 10. First serve points won in this third set.
Yeah, something's got to turn around here for Tomas Machac, or he's going to be heading to the showers here pretty soon. He's got to find a way to make some returns, or he's got to hope Novak's going to drop off on the quality of serving, which I wouldn't bet on. It's a small victory. So hard here. He's got to raise his level, is the bottom line. He's got to raise his level a little bit. He's got to find a little bit of magic here to get a break back.
Whatever spell he thinks he has, this man has the antidote to it every single time. Stuck it right on the line.
Wow. That was an aggressive second serve. I mentioned earlier he goes to the forehand on second serve more than any other player on tour, but that one at 180. And again, down, sliding away from him. There's no kick on that serve whatsoever.
One of the rare times that he hasn't hit his spot tonight. Machac able to have a full swing at the return.
Cain, Djokovic.
But another diagonal dagger out wide. And he moves to within one game of the fourth set.
Novak a little unhappy with someone in the crowd back there. Don't anger the Dark Lord.
Djokovic leads 5 against the 3.
That's a tribute to how well he has served that you saw Machac there. He had absolutely no idea where that was going. He was leaning right on the tee serve, beaten hands down out wide.
15. Let. Second service.
Just as devastatingly effective as a clean winner on the return. Machac backpedaling at pace. Nothing to work with.
Novak is a master of the hard middle return. Novak again unhappy with the crowd. Someone spoke out there in the middle of the rally.
During the rally, thank you.
Yeah, you kind of get used to probably the audio of linespeople's voices, and you can be able to tell the differential if that happens in that situation. But with the ELC, I think it is incredibly off-putting. And just distracted for a moment. Machac tracking him down. Stays in the conversation, but the 10-time champion will serve for the win after this. Ajay, it's been a skillful performance, there's no question. Great serving from Djokovic, but quite a studious performance as well.
I honestly think he's playing fantastic tennis here. I know he has such a high standard for himself, and I wonder what he will say if he wins this, when he wins this, because I think he's serving outstandingly. I think when you see him changing directions as seamlessly as he is today, that's when Novak Djokovic is at his best. And I haven't seen him play this well this year, and not here at the Australian Open 2025. And I think it's very promising to see him play this well for the rest of the tournament from his perspective.
I wonder what he's ruminating about. How Thomas has felt for the last couple of sets. A little helpless. Swimming upstream.
And so often you need help from the other guy, at least a little bit. Novak hasn't offered any tonight.
It's
been a serving masterclass, honestly. Spreading the ball around the box, the execution.
Yeah, in all honesty, you asked me earlier about the slice backhand. It is quite player specific for Novak in terms of when he uses it. I mean, you look at his record against Mannarino and you look at his slice rate against the Frenchman, and it's more than he hits topspin backhands. And I think that has definitely been something that he's incorporated particularly into this match.
Yeah. He used it a lot in the first set. We just saw it there, the first ball. I mean, that's a ball that he doesn't have to slice. He opts to slice there. Feeling himself right now.
Well, as that man knows, this is Novak's house.
14 love.
Sinner rented it from him last year, but the lease might just be for 12 months based on this performance. as classy and clinical as you could hope for. Triple match point.
Full team, 15.
Signature shot to finish it off.
6-1, 6-4.
Machac outplayed, out-hit, and out of here. Djokovic, however, extends his stay once again in Melbourne. Vintage.